Hip hop at 50. Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs. They just don't care. I can't take the smell. Can't take the noise. Got no money to move out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with a baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because the man with a tow truck repossessed my car. That, as many of you are watching right now, is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The song is called The Message. The 1982 classic for many showed that hip hop was more than a passing fad, a soundtrack to decadence like its kissing cousin disco. It was serious music. The birth of hip hop, of course, predates The Message. 50 years ago, at a house party in New York City, DJ Kool Herc was part of the inception of hip hop. Where has it taken us, and where is it currently taking us? From the article in Revolt, our guest Justin Hunte says, "Your rise is nothing short of awe-inspiring." Really think about this. A ragtag group of rebellious inner-city youths infatuated with emceeing, DJing, graffiti, and breaking sparked a fuse that ignited the world, bringing hope, opportunity, and inspiration to the far reaches of the globe. In those early years, you only existed in parks and parties that could be seen bombed on subway trains, windows to urban infrastructure. You weren't on the radio, you certainly weren't on television. You weren't yet mainstream, you were the alternative. Please welcome TR's resident hip hop journalist, Justin Hunte.
Hey, hey.
Justin, what is happening?
It's good to be here. Happy Saturday morning.
Happy Saturday to you. How you doing, brother? I like the conversation we were having in the green room. It kind of warms us up to the plethora of questions that Jason has prepared. I'm sure you too, as a native New Yorker, has questions as well as I do. So, Justin, if you don't mind, shall we proceed?
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
So, Justin, 50 years in hip hop, and it's the most streamed genre of music in the U.S. But those numbers are falling and have been for the last few years. What makes hip hop so popular, and why do you think it's starting to become less popular?
Well, what I think hip hop it's contagious. It's not a genre of music. It's a literal culture. It's technically a culture, right? There's a visual arts element, there's a dance element, there's a spoken word element, there's a music element, there's a knowledge element. So in that sense, that is why it has been so infectious and travels so easily around the globe, in my opinion, right? You can. People have been writing on walls forever. People have been rapping forever. People have been dancing. People have been making music forever, right? There's every element of hip hop stands on its own. But you bring them together, that is when hip hop starts, right? So I think that, with a lot of the conversations this year about what's happening with hip hop on the sales charts, for example, I think there's more skew to that than it seems, right? Well, one, yes, we can literally look at the charts and say, there hasn't been a number one hip hop, at least for the first half of this year, there hadn't been a number one hip hop album or number one hip hop song on the Billboard charts. And that's the first time in 20 years, 18 years, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these charts are also very fragmented, right? So they're basing it off of what we're considering American hip hop rap songs, essentially, American rap songs, right? Bad Bunny has been killing it. Bad Bunny is hip hop to the core, right? Burna Boy is hip hop to the core, right? So there are other genres of music that have had more success this year, that have had more success globally in their own charts this year, that are also hip hop too. Just because it's not in this like for example, if you go to the Latin Grammys, they have best Latin rapper, right, or best Latin pop song, right? But that is not included. That is completely separate from the American Grammys, right? Because they speak Spanish or it's considered Latin music, and within Latin music there is hip hop, And those songs have been very popular in Latin music, and Latin music has been more popular than American music in a lot of ways. You can do the same thing with a lot of sounds coming from the continent. You can do the same thing in the UK in a lot of ways, right? So I don't think that's a conversation about hip hop. I think, well, what is America? Why is American rap so stagnant? I think that's the conversation. But, but I don't feel like hip hop is falling off at all. I mean, if you look at all these other countries around the world, most of them are just now getting to their own golden era, right? Everything starts off referential. In the beginning, they were singing the songs that came from America. Then they were copying our styles. Then they were copying our songs. And then they started telling their own stories in their own styles underneath the banner of hip hop. So I don't think that it's a hip hop falling off thing. But I do think that American rap is super stagnant. I will say that.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. Do you think that the kind of diminishing popularity of contemporary hip-hop is a product of a larger phenomenon that's happening in America, where the overall culture industry, movie, everyone's like, movies suck, music sucks, arts, like, there's this sense that in this particular moment in late capitalism, in the neoliberal 50 plus year counter revolution, that creative arts in the culture industry have decreased in value. Do you think that hip hop is just representative of that overall trend, and it's not a specific consequence of the music, but it's just part of the same kind of like, yeah, movies kind of suck, yeah, movies, even books kind of suck, quite honestly. People say that about drama. So, in other words, there's a phenomenon in the greater ideological superstructure of the culture industry, the literary industry, and arts becoming commercialized that has diminished the quality of the actual art.
I think there's a few things happening. One, I think we're farther away from instruments than we ever thought. And I think there's just a natural vibration that actual strings, actual drums carry, right? So even the hip hop in the beginning was sampling a lot of that stuff, right? Before everything got really digital. Things got really digital almost out of necessity because we were getting sued so heavy for sampling stuff, right? So that's when now everything turned to drum machines, and then everything got real slowed. I mean, music in general always sounds like whatever drugs are popular, and we've been in the opioid phase for 20-something years. So everybody's been lean, the vibrations are really low, and everything's turned down. But I think the biggest thing overall is that everything has turned into marketing, right? No one wants to drop the bag. No one wants to be too woke. No one wants to be canceled, whatever. So whatever messages are coming through the music are ones that are very late stage capitalistic, right? Get that money. You better get paid now. We got a whole new cryptocurrency showing up. BRICS is around the world. America's got to compete with some people now. You got a whole blockchain worth of stuff. You better get your money when you can, because mortgage rates are 7%, and everybody is, doing everything they can to turn their phone into a recording studio so that they can have a chance to at least get side income. So so I think that there is a lack of, I'm looking for something real in the world, and I think everyone is really looking around for that, and it's not coming through in rap music the way it used to.